She never thought her life would end up here. So that she would talk about, but she never complained.
Would she use her time with you even just as social interaction if she could, to crave that, or just to talk about the other inmates that she, I don't know, maybe made friends with, or because you said you have to adapt, you have to learn.
Right. No, I mean, it was mostly business when we were talking.
Was she afraid when, before the death penalty was off the table with the hung jury,
Mm-hmm.
was she afraid of getting a death sentence? Was she afraid of dying?
I don't know how she feels about dying, but it's really what comes before that is so awful, to be on death row. So yeah, she was afraid of that. She did not want the death penalty.
What comes before that?
Just years of solitude. I mean, you never have the ability to have any physical or human touch again. In prison, if she's a good inmate, she can eventually work her way into being able to have a contact visit and hug her mom, which she hasn't been able to do in 7 years. She'd like to hug her niece. So, things like that. There's, like I say, you adapt. So those are things that become really important to people who have been in custody for a long time, versus, the difference of being in jail. That never happens.
So is it more that she has something to look forward to that will get her through now? Because we know those first 2 years, she won't have contact. That will continue.
Right.
And then beyond, like you said, maybe with good behavior. So she's focused on that then.
Right. I mean, she's focused on her future and what she can do potentially in the future.
Let's talk about you personally with this case.
Okay.
What for you has been the most challenging part of representing Jodi Arias?
It's funny, people ask me that, and they always assume that it's Jodi. It's not Jodi. She's just a client, like any other client. I think it would be the media and the social media. It was really, I've never worked on a case that has had this much social media attention. And it was tough. I mean, especially during the first trial, the live cameras weren't so bad because you just kind of ignore them after a while. You realize you don't think about it. But it was a lot of hate mail that we got. And then that hate mail turned into threats, and then there was particular threats against my family, and that's when that was really difficult to deal with, and it makes you think about, what kind of people are out there that care so much about the fact that I'm just representing somebody, and you don't even know her, and you want to kill me. That makes no sense.
Did that ever, even though you couldn't withdraw, did it ever make you want to withdraw?
Gosh, in the first trial, I'm trying to think if I ever felt like I wanted to withdraw. It almost pushed me more to not withdraw, because I don't want to let people like that push me into doing something that I don't want to do. I mean, I believe in what I do, and I believe what I do is right, and I think it's necessary for our society. And so I'm not ashamed of it, so no, I don't think I ever wanted to withdraw from it. Did I want it to be over? Yes.
Did you reach out for extra police protection or anything like that? Did anybody ever get close to you or your family that made you scared?
There were times, at the office, the girls the attorneys that I work with, there were times we had to start locking our door because I was getting so many phone calls my assistant had to take that were threatening and swearing and things like that. There were times that we had to call the police, and somebody in another state was contacted at one point. But he stopped calling as soon as he was contacted. So, yeah, there were times like that. There were times that we would see people walking along the sidewalk out of our window, and you wonder, and he's on his phone. Is he one of the ones who's calling me? So you just start to wonder things like that, and then you start to feel like you're paranoid. But that was really mostly with the first trial. The second trial went a lot better without having live coverage.
For your career,
mm-hmm.
How has this changed your career? Has it made you more popular? Has it made you, more known? Have you gotten requests for more representation?
Hopefully that's coming. I've been really busy, so whenever I've had people call in for, needing attorneys, I have had to refer them elsewhere because I've been so busy on Jodi's case, but it's over. So I'm hoping that that's something I can just go back to my private practice and doing what I always do.
Do you think that you'll become known as, not to sensationalize this, but just as the lady killer lawyer? You know,
Oh,
that
really?
those are the cases
Oh,
that
gosh.
will come for you, you know?
Oh, I wouldn't mind doing, I would love to do domestic violence cases where they're charged. No, I don't think so. I think this is all going to go away. And I think that probably by next week, nobody will know who I am, and nobody will recognize me, and nobody will think of me as representing Jodi Arias.
Did you expect this case to go as national as it did? Because certainly with the media, it took us by surprise even that it got picked up nationally the way it did.
Right. No, I didn't think so. In fact, like when I first came on the case, I had never heard of it. And it was the national media, it was the HLN, those guys that were the ones who were kind of publicizing it. But I didn't know anything about it. And it was really, the local media really didn't seem to do anything with it.
What makes this case different than anyone that you've worked on before? What really sets it apart, makes it a different case?
Honestly, nothing other than the social media and the media. It's really like any other case.
Let's see. Did Jodi ever ask for, this is such a random question, but it's a submitted one. Did Jodi ever ask for extra things during your meetings when you would do your interviews, like snacks or, you know, something that maybe she couldn't eat or anything like that?
Oh, no, no, we're not allowed to give her anything. She never asked.
Okay. Do you happen to know how Jodi's website got the juror names so quickly?
Which, you know, honestly, I don't know what website it was posted on, so I never saw anything, so I don't know which website you're talking about.
It just her, like, I guess, this website that posted the
like
names.
A pro
that,
Jodi, a pro
yeah.
Arias
Her
website?
support site, yeah. If you
No.
will. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Did that ever get in the way, or did you ever, you know, because she was tweeting through an outside source or anything, did you ever advise her not to do that, or did that ever get in the way of what you guys were working on?
No, it didn't get in the way. I mean, she stopped tweeting quite a while ago. There's other people that, you know, I think there's a Twitter account that has her name on it, but that about updates or something like that. But it's not her who's doing it. She doesn't have a phone. She doesn't have a computer. No, I mean, it didn't get in the way. That's not something I really tried to concern myself with.
Do you believe that she is truly remorseful?
Oh, yeah, I do. I really do. I just think she has she's just not able to show it. And the hard part about that is that if you were to see the Jodi that we see, she's very chit-chatty and smiley, and she's very funny and smart, but she could never do that in court because that's completely inappropriate to be in such a serious proceeding. So she can't do that, and so all she knows how to do is just be deadpan serious.
I think the only time that people would have seen that side of her was in the beginning, so I guess you wouldn't have been on at this point, but when that first interview was released, and it showed her, you know, she was in there for a long time, and she's singing songs to herself, she does the headstand, the yoga poses, and that kind of thing, and in public perception, they took that as, boy, she's...
Well, that's like a crazy type of stuff to do. I mean, I'm not sure where that was coming from. And I think right after, I mean, at that point in time, it had been just a little over a month by the time this had happened. And so, I mean, I didn't know her back then. I don't know what kind of frame of mind she was in, but I don't think it was a good frame of mind.
So she wasn't quite so sporadic in her moods when you saw her, and with her demeanor, and, you know, just... Because early on, she, you know, the amount of time she would change her story and change her, you know, this and that. So it wasn't quite so back and forth when you knew her, personality-wise?
No. I mean, there was times that she would be upset about something, and I guess I would just say it would be something that you would expect in any other case. I mean, there's times that clients get very upset because of either what they're facing or whatever, and then there's other times when you're just able to talk and have a normal conversation. So it was just like that.
What do you think that people should know? I mean, now as the book closes and she goes on her way and settles into life forever behind bars, what would you think that people should know about her that they didn't? What did we not get to see and not get to know?
You know, that's a tough question because I don't know that anybody really wants to know anything about her. I think that if anybody says, it's what I was saying yesterday, if you say similar. If you say something nice about her, it's because you are crazy. If you say something mean about her, well then that's because it's true. I don't think there's anything I can say about her. I mean, I only know her as a client and an attorney-client relationship. I don't know her as a friend or like her family knows her. But so I think it's too difficult to answer, honestly.
But there has to be a reason why you would represent her, I guess, or why you would be able to put any amount of passion into representing her. There's got to be something about her, or is it circumstantial? It was about what happened to her, not who she is.
Yeah, it's about the case. I mean, it's the case itself, and I think when you believe in the case, sometimes the passion, you're able to get that passion across to people so that they understand that you believe in what you're saying. And so the evidence that I saw, I believe that, that I don't think this case should have been first degree. So, and so that for me, that was passion. But it's not about Jodi. It's not about, I mean, for her, it's about her, clearly, in the sense that it's about what's going to happen to her now and the fact that her life is done because she's in prison for the rest of her life. But it's not about the person. It's about the case. I mean, that's what we do.
Do you, I know that one thing just from, outsiders and people looking in, and like you said, it just social media and perception, but the question that you see, your attackers and your critics, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
over and over is how could you possibly, because what they see regardless of the reason is the level of violence that she escalated to, stabbing someone that many times, slitting
Mm-hmm.
their throat, that, their question for you is how could you represent somebody who did that? Does it not weigh on you if you're a parent? Is that not hard to represent someone who has done that?
I think the question back is how could I not? Because if I don't do it, who's going to do it? And part of being a defense attorney is the fact that I'm defending people that have done something really bad. I don't pretend that all my clients are innocent. I know that they deserve someone to represent them and to make sure that the government doesn't steamroll over them. And that's what I do. So when people ask me how I sleep at night, I sleep fine, other than the stress of trial. I mean, I sleep fine. I like what I do. And if there's not people like us in the defense community who are going to represent these people, then it's going to become a problem for someday when one of those people who asks me those questions, when their son or daughter gets in trouble. And then they're going to wonder who's there for them.
In your book, was this case a win? Was it a loss? Because in the end, she, got life, but she avoided the death penalty.
For me, I think it was a mix because I really wanted second degree, but in the end, once it was first degree, it's all about life or death. And so for us, it was very much a win for her to get life.
Are you happy that it's done?
Yes, very, very happy.
Mostly because of this, the camera portion?
Yeah, I don't like cameras. I mean, this isn't, yeah. Yeah.
What's next for you? Does anything change? Do you approach the next day, tomorrow, anything differently?
No, I'm just happy. I need to clean up my office. I need to get to work. And I'm just hoping, and I really just want to go back to my private practice.
Do you think in any way that this case hurt your private practice at all? Moving forward?
I don't think it hurt it, but it made it difficult. I mean, I can't represent the number of clients that I normally do when I had a case like that.